behind the 7-Year War, understand that there had been a quest for hegemony. Every nation, right? The main reason for struggle over here is colonial dominance. Every nation over here will try to have the colonies for themselves, right? They would like to control the trade. They would like to control the colonies, control the sea routes, all these parts. What is happening apart from this in the Northern America, we are going to see that Britain had 13 colonies along the Atlantic coast and they wanted to expand. Okay, understand, when I'll be teaching you North America. So all these colonies will be a part of Britain. Okay, and they will be trying to extend westwards for the resources and the market. And Britain, it wanted to break the French control to establish supremacy in North America. This will again be a bone of contention. And France, it wanted to prevent the Britain from gaining this global dominance. Another thing which we will notice over here, that from 1750 onwards, there is going to be starting of industrial revolution. And what is this industrial revolution? It is basically your mass production. Everything which will be produced will be in masses. Now machines would be used which will make the handicrafts and all the products easily at a cheaper rate, right? So what is going to happen? That ultimately these nations, Britain and France, in their colonized area, they will try to pick up the raw material from there and they will try to sustain the industrial revolution in their place. Now, this is what we are going to notice over here. So, Britain, it became dominant naval power with growing maritime trade profit, and the naval rivalry or getting this supremacy is going to again start between both the nations. Similarly, same thing we are going to see in Caribbean islands. It will be more towards the plantation, right? The clashes will be for a lucrative sugar trade over here. In the Western Africa, we are going to notice Senegal, and Senegal has been a colony of France. And what is going to happen? That the French trading post in Senegal, it is going to become the target of British attacks, because more the number of colonies, more resources and more rich or powerful a nation is going to be, right? And in India, what do we notice? That this rivalry had also extended to Indian subcontinent, and what we had seen that British East India Company had been fighting with your French forces for the control. First thing we saw in Battle of Plassey, it was between Siraj Uddola and it had been between British East India Company, right? And what happened? British East India Company, they gain victory over here and they got the exclusive trading rights over here, right? There had been a Battle of Wandiwash also. What happened? That decisive battle between Britain and France forces happened over here, and this Britain has won, establishing a supremacy in Southern Asia. Now please remember, both these are very important. It is present in your spectrum. We study spectrum for modern India, right? Both the battles are present over there. Now what happens with Battle of Wandiwash? The supremacy of France is merely reduced to Puducherry area, right? And it is starting of Britain's or British imperialism completely in India. Now, a result of war, what happens? That ultimately a Treaty of Paris is signed in 1763, right? And in this, the Britain gained Canada from France, and Florida from Spain. Britain, France had retained certain Caribbean sugar islands, though the power had been reduced. Spain's control over Cuba and Philippines was also recognized. So officially, this Treaty of Paris had ended this war. And what were the impact of 7 years of war on world politics, specifically India? Britain emerged as a superpower, first of all, supreme, you can say, colonial power, expanding to Northern America. Ultimately, we'll see American Revolution. And India, we will see Indian independence movement, right? France, global influence had reduced, though it tried to maintain its colonies. It had created the conditions for American Revolution because the colonists, they resisted British taxation policies after this. Now, Americans, they had already said that no taxation without representation. Is it clear over here? Now, indirectly, it has also influenced the French Revolution, the concept which came from America of individualism, of liberty, had influenced this. And also, after this whole fight between Britain and France, the France had already been going through a lot of financial crisis. Is it clear? So what happened? This era had marked the beginning of British colonial dominance across the world for another longer years. Is it clear? Now,